Okay, folks, another game from WEM here. It's now a game between TeD and Lynn, and obviously this is Undead versus Rock. It's on Terran stand, and it's a long time I think since any Undead beat Lynn. Really, I think his matchup worked so well in his favor, and Lynn going for a pretty interesting build here. He's putting his Voodoo Lounge all the way at the top here, just so he can obviously heal up after some interesting creeping, and that's what exactly what he's going for early on. Taking out this one creep actually just for the tome, and then moving on. Maybe he has an exact a creep route planned where it's going to get level 2 really quickly. And meanwhile, TeD going for a fiend build. Obviously, TeD pretty much always goes for fiends. And nice base block here once he gets up his ziggurat there. And now he's going for some pretty basic creeping. Meanwhile, Lynn is now creeping out here, and you can see some very nice hamming here by him. It's going to mean that he's gonna hit. His job's gonna finish just in time. He does sell his TP, buys excuse me, buys 2 healing salves, and then goes and buys a circlet as well, and then immediately can just go and creep Jack TeD. So some very nice creeping there by Lynn. And actually doesn't manage to kill that last creep. Maybe he doesn't want to reveal himself, so he can get a better creep jack here and actually do some damage to units rather than just steal creep. And it looks like he's good trying to kill off this Death Knight, and or at least do some damage. And TeD does manage to get the kill, but Lynn gets the item, although it is just a ring of protection. But it's going to stop Lynn from getting level 3, which is very nice, or even level 2 for that matter. Sorry, and. TeD does need to put up another ziggurat here, but I guess his economy doesn't really afford it yet. There the ziggurat goes there, and one skeleton just in Lynn's base just getting about, and that's something that TeD does a lot. Is he just always sends skeletons to your opponent's base. And I remember, I think it was Todd was talking about it once, and he was saying that whenever he played versus TeD, is that he would always just be getting the message of oh, your base is under attack, your base is under attack. And then he would always look, and he'd just see it was a skeleton. And then the one time that he didn't look, it was sort of Lynn's entire army or whatever, and that apparently really annoyed him. And that I'm surprised he hasn't gone to level 2 yet, but I guess he's decided he wants to get this ziggurat first, and obviously if he can, that's going to be very nice for taking out acolytes. TeD hasn't started his tech yet, but he wants to start it soon, I'm guessing, so it's going to be very annoying for him. And TeD just now upgrading a new Rubian tower, and some pretty nice acolyte micro, just going to mean that Lynn's going to be unable to actually get any kills here. And going into Windwall form, TeD needs to play predictive here. Is Lynn going to run, or isn't he? And he does run. He does get one acolyte kill, and so TeD's going to need to rebuild that one acolyte. But meanwhile, he's making much better use of his time, managing to creep out, hitting level 2 now, and I'm going to get pretty close to level 3 off this camp. Although Lynn is coming in here, and sentry wards now out for TeD. That's very nice for him. Obviously, just being able to scout out the Blade Master is pretty nice, as long as you put them into really important places. Like they can work really well in your favor for a pretty long time, and 6 minutes or so. And so TeD now finally rebuilding the ziggurat. It's a bit late, but it's going to mean that he's just going to have to attack a bit earlier, because he was already at 29 out of 30 food, so no more fiends for him quite yet. Bringing back this one fiend a bit earlier so he can put it on blight, and this one this Blade Master is now coming in, and solo creeping with his grunts. Meanwhile, he is now 2 and a bit, and it looks like Lynn knows that he can't. Lynn is actually being aggressive here, because TeD's just left his base, and I'm surprised by that. I guess he didn't know that Lynn was around, but actually, Lynn should probably start his tech, but since he's going to lose his ziggurat, I guess it's probably for the best that he hasn't. And Lynn now taking a fair bit of damage on his Blade Master, does need to run it out, and actually speed scrolls it out, because TeD's come in and got a bit of a creep jack here. Obviously, it's not too great a creep jack, but he might manage to get one grunt kill if he's lucky. And TeD has actually picked up a sacrificial skull as well, so you might be seeing some creeping of a quite difficult camp, in which case you might often want to put down blight just because you know you're going to be standing there for a while, especially if you're pulling the creeps out somewhere. Or you might be seeing some sort of tower rush, which is I think something that TeD likes to do quite a bit against War, because if you just do that, he does hit level 3 now, and that's really important for the Death Knight is hitting level 3, and so that's something I think Lynn should watch out for. Lynn has now hit tier 2, but some very nice timing here by TeD is going to mean that he can cancel out this bestiary. TeD has now put down this blight just outside Lynn's base, and so it looks like this is where he's going to be sort of making a stand at least. One sentry ward out for TeD is really going to be very useful for him as well, and the fact that Lynn's put his Voodoo Lounge so far away is going to be really a hindrance to him in this big push here. And Lynn did bring in lots of peons in an attempt to sort of slow this attack. I think he thought that perhaps an acolyte was coming as well, and there's going to be towers immediately, but that doesn't seem to have happened. And so Tauren Chieftain is now coming out. Obviously we'll go for Stomp, because Stomp's just quite nice against fiends, but TeD Lin does manage to distract TeD for long enough to actually get this bestiary up, but does lose a peon, and you can see Lin's actually having to rebuild this voodoo lounge because this one's just too far away to be useful, and TeD is now most of the way to tier 2, continuing to pump fiends actually quite aggressively. So I wonder if we're going to even see any tier 2 buildings, because he is building a lot of fiends and he is going to want to lich out as well, and he's not really going to have the economy for all of those things, and so TeD might be hoping to maybe end this game a bit earlier, maybe before even the lich comes out, but in that case I'm not sure why he'd be going for tier 2. And TeD now putting down a 4th cigarette, so he is going to be pushing to 50 food by the looks of things. He's not going to be trying to end it before he gets there, and has now picked up a Zeppelin as well, but looks like he had to aggro the creeps to get it, so not the best thing in the world, but he has taken a bit of damage on it. But Lin with no units that can actually attack air. He does have one raider up, but I don't think Ensnare's been researched. No, it's just being researched now. And so if TeD managed to take down the bestiary now, then this Ziggurat's gonna be, or sorry, the Zeppelin's gonna be basically untouchable. And Lin is being forced to repair, but you can see how many peons have just died trying to save it, and so many that Lin's actually having to rebuild peons, despite the fact that he's at tier 2 and he has a war mill and a bestiary up already, which really does say something about the number he's lost. And TeD is now tier 2, is building a lich, and no slaughterhouse or anything, so it looks like there's going to be some quite aggressive pushing here. The sentry ward will now scout that Lin's coming out, and so we'll tell TeD just to get away, and TeD does now 1-0 upgrades as well. That's very nice for him, obviously, with all the focusing power from all those fiends. It's very nice if you can get any attack upgrades. And TeD with now how many? 8 fiends, very nice in number there. It's just going to really increase his focusing power, especially against only level 2 Blade Master and level 1 Tauren Chieftain. And Tauren Chieftain is now trying to creep out. If he can creep out this camp as well, it will get him level 2, but only 4 grunts and 2 raiders, and that's really not going to be enough against TeD's force. Some very nice play here by TeD, especially with this Zeppelin as well. This was a land game as well, so the possibility of some very nice micro here. Lich is almost out now as well, and we'll have to see if TeD goes just straight for the push. Obviously he's going to go for Frost Armor first, especially against a Tauren Chieftain as well, but this one Zeppelin getting ensnared, so we'll actually go down, so TeD won't be able to make most of it because ensnared did actually finish in time, which is a bit of a shame. I think TeD was hoping that he would manage to cancel that bestiary, but he got a lot of kills instead. And Death Knight now getting stomped and in a bit of a bad position actually, but I imagine the lich is going to come in any second now. This one fiend is very low and does go down. TeD doesn't coil it despite having a lot of mana actually, and level 2 coil, but I guess he has his reasons, and the lich is now finally in. Has picked up a Rod of Necromancy as well, and Lin knows that TeD has a really much stronger armor at this point. TeD manages to get 1 coil as well, and manages to kill off 1 raider and does a lot of damage to another one. It looks like TeD's going to continue with his pushing now. He does have a bit of an advantage here, and Lin is now building a Kodo. Obviously Kodos are very nice against fiends as long as you have a bit of ensnare, and especially with Stomp as well, you can just sort of eat 1 fiend, and then especially if they're pushing you can just move in the back of their base. Lin is now going tier 3 as well, and so he is a bit weak for a little while, and so this is a very nicely timed push here by TeD, especially considering he has a hero advantage and a unit advantage. I think this is very strong for him at this point. This bestiary is taking a lot of damage. I'm not sure if the Kodo will manage to get out. It looks like it probably will, because these 2 peons have come to repair it, and that Kodo does get out, and does just have to run to safety, but does take 300 damage in the process. And Lin will lose 1 peon and have to burrow another just to keep that 1 bestiary alive. And there's no promising that the bestiary will actually stay alive. But TeD actually has brought an acolyte now and is now putting down some towers, and so there's really some pressure now on Lin to win this or at least push TeD away and cancel that 1 Ziggurat before it upgrades to a Nerubian tower. Because obviously if you can get a Nerubian tower to hit a Blade Master, it sort of halves its effectiveness basically, and makes it so much less useful. And so that is what Lin's doing here. He's used his siege goal, he's gotten his stomp in time, and has managed to get eat a fiend with his Kodo. And so some very nice play here by Lin, considering the bad position he was in. But he does have this 1 low grunt here, and TeD does just turn around and kill Lin's grunt. And so I think Lin's getting a bit desperate here. This 1 raider does take a lot of damage, and you can see he was microed out, and actually Lin tries to micro him back in because he knows that he has to use all his units, even if they are low health, just to try and win this. But some very nice use of Frost Armor here as well by TeD, and you can see he just had so much mana left over. Maybe that's why he didn't use his mana before. TeD building 2 more Ziggurats now, and this Tauren Chieftain is now out of mana. Does actually have a Cloak of Shadows, and he can use it, but he says GG instead. So some very nice play there by TeD, and a victory very well deserved. So I hope you enjoyed that game.